Compliment of the day. Welcome to our class on web development. I am Kenneth Obasi, convener of this platform, Learning Digital Skills. On this class, we're going to be learning the basis of web development. For us to learn web development, we have to understand and be ready to work with programming languages. So it's very important. There are so many programming languages that we ought to learn in order to understand web development and be able to build your projects on web development. Web development has to do with creating websites, and website is more or less like an internet workspace or workshop on the internet. So if you want to be a web developer or a web designer, you have to learn programming languages. There are so many programming languages, and the basis of one of those programming languages are the HTML. So in this art class, we're going to be learning the basis of HTML, the HTML5 precisely. HTML has launched into our class. The HTML. So what is HTML? The HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is easy and fun to learn. It is something that you find very interesting when you start learning it. It's more of a gamification, and also an assignment is given to you. You test yourself. When you fail, you go back on this platform. And we are here to support you. It is a supportive community where we share ideas together and support ourselves. So you pay attention to your studies and also be committed to the class. On this virtual learning, today we are going to be learning the basis of HTML. The HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. As said earlier, HTML describes the structure of web pages, and HTML5 is the fifth and current major version of the HTML standard. So if you have a phobia of programming languages, you have to put that fear at your back and know that anything is learnable if you put your interest in it. Yes. So why learn HTML? It is essential to learn HTML if you want to build websites. You can't build one if you don't understand HTML, because it is one of the prerequisites in learning other languages used for web development. So you are going to be trying your hand on the programming of HTML. And for instance, I'm going to write a structure of the HTML protocols, and I will explain them one after the other. So just watch. In building a HTML, we have the editing field, which is your workspace, or more or less your playground, where you have to build your coding. We also call it the back end. And the web users don't see this back end. You are the only one who see this back end. What they see is the front end of what you have done. So when building the HTML, the first thing first is the angle bracket. The doc type. So this element is what we call the angle bracket exclamation doc type HTML close angle bracket. This declares the document open for you to start working on the HTML editor. Without this, your browser will not recognize your protocols or your coding. So this is the very first element when building an HTML programming language. Then the next is this. This element encloses everything inside of an HTML document. It includes tags, elements, style, sheets, script, text, multimedia, and a lot of them. Then the next is head in an angle bracket. So this head encloses the metadata of a document which will not be displayed on the main content of a web page. In other words, it is what the Google recognizes when ranking pages on the internet. So without this, the Google will not recognize your web page. So as I said earlier, it is the element who encloses the metadata of a document which will not be displayed on the main document of a web page. This could include style sheets, scripts, your title, metadata tags, and a lot more. So it is used by the search engine optimization, and every website without the head lacks visibility online. So the next is the title. This element defines the title of a web page. It appears on the upper parts of a browser. So it shows the title of the page you are working on when you are using multiple pages on your browser. So this title displaces your title, the particular page you are working on the internet. The body. This angle tag encloses elements like the H1, the page, the IMG, the B in angle bracket, the I in angle bracket, and a lot of them. So this is your body where everything your end users are going to be seeing is programmed on. So everything on the body of your website is built on this element. So this is the where all your programming, all your ideas, all your creativity is being displayed. And the next is the HI. The HI is the biggest size of your text. So they are ranged from H1 to H6. The H6 is the smallest of your text size. Then the angle bracket in a P represents paragraph. When you want to move to the next paragraph or the next page, it displaces your page on the next paragraph. So these are the basic elements when you are creating your website. The HTML tag are elements surrounded by angle brackets. In HTML, we start and end tags. Look at the examples below. You can see we have this as the start tag angle bracket and the end tag angle bracket. So we use this to start an element and we use this to end an element. You can see it. So you have to get used to this. So these are the basics when it comes to building an HTML language. So every other programming languages are built on HTML. So just like I said earlier, we have the JavaScript, we have the C++, we have the PHP for security, and a lot of them. So for us to get the basis of the HTML, we have to memorize these elements. If you understand these elements, I bet you are going to be very good in programming. So, and I hope that on this particular class you have learned something very important. For instance, if I'm starting up, this is what I will advise you to memorize. You have to memorize this, and I will explain. Just like I've put on the board. Alright, this is the basis of the HTML5. For us to start seeing the workspace and our results, the back end from the front end, that means as immediately you register, we share our pro version with you. With the pro version, you have a working space where you try out this code and you get the end result, the front end of your coding of the HTML programming language. So thank you for this class. Thank you for listening. You are highly welcome to this platform.